Team. Let's move on to a different topic. Let's go to headlines. Maybe teams that you maybe expect have a headline that people don't know about. This could be as far down as a Purdue or a school like Iowa. What do you think about a headline for the Big Ten season going into this next year?
Is Sharon Moore the guy? Michigan has continued to recruit well. I don't think they've really fallen off much there from Harbaugh, but I still wonder if Sharon Moore's the right guy for Michigan. I think people like him. He's a player's coach. They enjoy playing for him, but is he really the guy they need leading the charge there in Ann Arbor? So for me, the questions aren't just Bryce Underwood, which we saw him, shine a little bit and then make some bad plays in that spring game, but it's how do you now replace a lot of that defensive line that was back from the national title game? How do you replace a lot of those, basically the rest of the pieces from the secondary that helped them win a national title and be a good defense again last year? Is there enough there that the depth was there and continue to grow and progress and get better and better in the shadows? Is that all ready to step up now, or are we missing some pieces? It's also a program who doesn't have a receiver core that's just terrifying to anybody. So I'm thinking, if they go 7-5, 6-6, our ears starting to perk up on hearing some things.
Do they beat Ohio State in that 7-5 and 6-6 is a big question.
If they do, they're probably fine, I think, as time has told us. But if not, I wonder if we start hearing the birds chirp a little bit.
I love that question because I had the same thought coming to mind. And I think the Ohio State thing's obviously a big contributor to that fan base and what they want to do. But Lord knows where Michigan's going to be this year. Obviously, Bryce Underwood is a tremendous athlete, and he showed some flashes in the spring game. But as a comment comes in from JT, who is a recurring host on the show, he probably could have been on the show tonight unless they're taking a family trip down there. Everyone assumed Michigan will be good with an improved quarterback, but is it too late after losing another great class to the draft? That's another fair question. This Michigan team, a lot of question marks around it, and a schedule that's going to give them opportunities early to show what they are as a program and how they will be throughout the season. So Michigan is a good one there. My headline was on the bottom half of the conference normally. It lies with PJ Fleck, a guy you love, a guy you've been compared to looks-wise.
Plenty of times.
But is PJ Fleck overachieving again in 2025? Because they did last year. I mean, this is a team that rolled into 2024 with a win total at 4.5. They end up winning 8 games. They beat USC. They just kind of did this under the radar thing where they just won games that nobody really paid attention to because they were just in the middle of the pack in the Big Ten, but they were not expected to be at all. And with the schedule this year, I'm wondering almost if they can get to 8 or 9 if they have a couple of close big wins against programs maybe they were underdogs to, because the road schedule is brutal. They go on the road to Iowa City, they go on the road to Columbus and play Ohio State, and they go on the road to Eugene and play Oregon. So let's say we throw all 3 of those in at losses, especially with Iowa being a rivalry game that's pretty turned up there in Iowa City. But their preseason road game is Cal, who just had a max exodus on behalf of their program. So what the hell is Cal going to look like? I would expect Minnesota to be a favorite there. Don't get me wrong. Minnesota still has their question marks of, can they, Rafael Brosmer at the quarterback position because he was decent for them last year. How is the second year? Will there be a sophomore slump from one of the best true freshmen in the Big Ten and Kai? I forget his last name, but outstanding athlete on the back end for them. But I just like them to kind of start off 3 or 4-0 with their schedule. But then they roll into those conference games where I think they'll obviously lose the 3 I mentioned, but they get Nebraska at home. Can they win a game like that to get them over the hump? Because the win total is 4.5 last year. Now this year with that daunting road schedule is at 6.5. So Vegas is giving them a little bit more respect than they were last year. Can they get to 8 or 9 again? I think if they do, PJ Fleck's going to get himself a nice extension again because it's a team that's under the radar, but definitely a storyline and a headline to follow is, will he overachieve again in 2025? Brief thoughts on Minnesota, JP.
I think 9 gets an extension. I think 9 on certain schedules, if you're a Big Ten or SEC school, fights you for a shot to get into the playoff.
This schedule would do it.
I would agree. Schedule. You'd be in the conversation at 9-3, especially if one of those is an upset win against one of those teams, higher up in the rankings. 9-3 is getting you in the conversation. I'm not going to listen to Alabama or, some of those teams last year with 9-3 conversations. It was this doesn't make any sense. You don't even look the part, for more than half your season. And so Yeah, 9 wins might get him another extension, honestly.
Yeah, and that's a lot. That's high praise coming from JP. He's not a PJ Fleck guy.
No,
So
not a PJ
take
guy.
that, clip that, and keep that in your pocket, Minnesota fans.